Okay everyone, again Andrew Moran here, coming back at you with another super tuning video. This week it is the Lews Tournament Pro speed spool. But first, take a look at this. So this is a brand spanking new, they call it the Boca bearings work mat, made out of a super nice non-slip material. Has tons of conversions, rulers. There's these little weld compartments so your stuff's not going to fall out. Clearly, someone at Boca Bearings put a lot of thought into creating this thing. This thing is awesome. So I'll put a link down below in the comments section. Bear with me, I'm kind of fighting a sore throat, but we'll get through this just as quick as we can. So, you guys know the drill. First things first, what you'll need. You'll need a pair of tweezers with a really fine needle point. You'll need a Q-tip that's been cut in half to remove the bearings from their wells. You'll need a pair of spool pin pliers. These are the ones that Boca Bearings make. They're great. Super helpful for removing that pesky spool pin on the last bearing that we install. And of course you'll need the reel. So first things first, dry run test, just like we always do. This is free spool, straight out of the box, not having been flushed at all. And the spool tension's all the way down, and as soon as it stops, I'll show you that the centrifugal and magnetic brakes have been turned all the way down as well. And stop. There we go. So there you can see the brakes are all the way down. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, we'll unscrew the retention screw that holds on the side plate. That's just going to pop off like that. Set him aside, and this is the first bearing you'll be going after. Okay, and inside this well there's a hexagonal retention pin. That's what you're going to need your tweezers for. So all you'll do is you'll kind of get in there underneath that lip, squeeze, and remove that retention pin. Now, it's going to be really tough to lose this guy because he's going to be hanging out in this well inside this awesome mat. Okay? So, Q-tip, just get in there and remove the bearing just like that. Okay? We'll sit that bearing aside. Take one of the two 3x10 by 4mm bearings you'll get with the Tournament Pro set. Pop that right down inside the well and replace the retention pin. So if you get it started with the tweezers, usually you can just kind of pinch it in there. There you go. Just make sure it's underneath that lip. Okay, one down. At this point we're going to take the spool out of the reel. Sit it aside. And now we're going to go after the bearing that's inside the spool tension knob. So give it a couple screws off. Okay, sit him aside. And again, just like before, we're going to remove the retention pin inside here. This one is circular, so I think it's a little bit tougher to get out, but this one's actually coming out not too bad. There we go. Put it down in one of those wells on the mat. There we go. And just as before, take the Q-tip and just pull the bearing right out of there. Take your last 3x10 by 4mm bearing and whoop, put it right back in the well. These bearings don't have a right side up or anything like that. They just go in any which way. Take the tweezers and replace your retention pin. Sorry, this is kind of difficult with the drag in the way. So again, as long as you get it started with the tweezers, you shouldn't have too many issues. and it kind of clicks into place. Replace the knob. You'll find that the drag gets in the way of this one and makes it just a skosh more awkward than the other ones. There we go. Now then. Okay. So, the last bearing we're going to replace is on the spool pin. Now, this is where it gets just a touch trickier. If you look at this, the spool pin, okay, there is a skinny side on this side. Okay, first of all, the spool pin runs this way. Skinny side's on this side, there's a fat side over here. We're going to push the skinny side out. Okay, so we're applying pressure from the top and forcing it out the bottom. How we do that is we line the skinny side up with this pin right here. Okay, and we just push it out through the bottom. So let me see if I can get that on camera for you guys. Slip it over the top just like that and give it a little squeeze. Okay, so that gets it started, and then you just use the pliers to pull it out. Okay, so there's your pin. Put that in one of the wells, don't lose it, and then this bearing just pops right off just like that. Okay, put him over here and replace him with the last bearing. This is a 5 by 11 by 4 millimeter bearing. Now we're ready to replace the spool pin. Okay, so now what we're going to do, get this out of the well here, is we'll just start it back in, push it finger tight, and now what we're going to do is actually we're going to apply pressure to the fat side. Okay, so we will be pushing the fat side with this well and pushing it down into the bottom. So let me get things situated here. Okay, this one is just not going to let me show you guys. So you align the open part into the top well and give it a little squeeze. There we go. Okay, so you can kind of see now what I did. So this goes down over the top and you just squeeze. Okay, so that lines it up half and half. So at this point you are all set. You are totally done. That is extremely quick, extremely simple. Nothing at all to be afraid of when you're replacing these bearings. So let's give it a quick little speed test. We'll dial the spool tension all the way back down from where we tightened it earlier. There we go. And brakes are still all the way down. So here we go. Oh. So first things first, you'll notice that it's spinning a lot faster. And it's also a touch louder. That's because these bearings are ceramic, and because ceramic bearings don't require oil or lubrication. If that noise happens to bother you, I would really recommend purchasing what's called lightning lube. This is made by Boca bearings expressly for these types of ceramic bearings. Take a look at that bubble and look how quickly and easily it moves through that oil. That's a very low viscosity oil, so it's really not going to slow down your bearing performance as much as the other, the ardent real butter types of oil. That's a very thick oil. So you want to go with something pretty viscous. So if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments section below. Again, this has been a super tuning video of the Lews Tournament Pro with Boca bearings. Special thank you to Corey at Boca Bearings for sending me out this awesome mat. Definitely check this out if you're a hobbyist. This is going to make your life super easy. You've got fractions of an inch to decimals of an inch, and then decimals of an inch to millimeters. So you can work pretty much just about anything off of this mat. So I'm super excited to get this. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day and tight lines.